In Universe Earth 828 in the year 1960, four astronauts named Reed Richards, his wife Susan Storm, Susan's younger brother Johnny Storm, and their friend Ben Grimm carry out a mission to outer space to study a strange cosmic storm. When they reach space, their spacecraft experiences a malfunction, and they are all exposed to a powerful cosmic storm. Miraculously, the four of them manage to return to Earth safely. However, the exposure to the cosmic storm gives them extraordinary abilities. Reed gains the power to stretch his body like rubber. Susan gains the ability to become invisible and use telekinesis. Johnny gains the power to control fire and become a human torch. Ben's body changes into solid rock, making him extremely strong. From that moment, the four of them become superheroes known as the Fantastic Four, protecting Earth from those who seek to do harm. They become admired by people all over the world. Susan even succeeds in making peace with the leader of the underground world called Subterranea, a man named Hervey, who is also known as Mole Man. 4 years later, one morning after waking up, Susan finds a pregnancy test showing that she is expecting a child. Filled with happiness, she immediately tells her husband Reed. He is overjoyed as they have been married for several years but have never been blessed with a child. The news fills their home with warmth and hope. Despite his excitement, Reed cannot help but feel a sense of fear. He worries that their child might inherit the cosmic genes that changed them years ago. But Susan remains calm and reassures him that everything will be fine. She believes their baby will be born healthy and normal. They soon share the news with Johnny and Ben, who are just as thrilled to learn that they will soon have a nephew or niece. To prepare for the baby's arrival, Reed begins working on everything that might make their home safer and more comfortable. He fixes every electric socket, designs a special nursery. Reed wants nothing more than to ensure that Susan and her unborn child are safe and cared for as the day of birth draws near. One day while working, Reed receives a transmission signal from outer space. Curious, he records the strange audio and transfers it onto a vinyl disc. Shortly after, Johnny comes to see him. Reed explains that they have once again received an unusual transmission from space, one of several that have been detected over time. This time, he feels a deep sense of unease about it. Because he is busy with another project, Reed asks Johnny to analyze the recording for him. He then shows Johnny the new device he has created, a machine called the Bridge. This invention is capable of transferring organic matter from one place to another, a major step forward in Reed's scientific work. Later, Johnny returns to his room and plays the recorded transmission. The sound is unlike anything he has ever heard before, resembling a voice speaking in an unknown alien language. In another place, Reed examines Susan's pregnancy, which has now entered its later stages. He can see the worry in his own eyes, knowing how deeply concerned he is about the condition of their unborn child. Wanting to ease his fears, Susan uses her power to make her stomach transparent. Reed is amazed as he sees their baby boy moving healthily inside her womb. Overwhelmed with joy, he decides that their son will be named Franklin. That night, during dinner, they notice several police cars speeding through the streets in pursuit of a criminal. Reed calmly tells everyone not to worry. He explains that he has been working closely with the police to strengthen the city's security. He believes no criminal will ever be able to disturb their peace. Suddenly, a massive explosion lights up the sky. Without hesitation, Johnny and the others rush out to investigate. As Johnny soars through the air, he spots a mysterious figure flying toward the city. A woman whose entire body is covered in shining silver, riding a floating surfboard through the clouds. The silver being announces that Earth has been marked for destruction by a powerful cosmic entity known as Galactus. She warns that nothing can stop what is coming and urges humanity to prepare for its end. After delivering the message, she turns and flies away. Determined to stop her, Johnny chases after the silver figure, pushing his fiery power to the limit. But as he passes through the upper atmosphere, his flames begin to fade due to the lack of oxygen. Just before losing control, he manages to grab the edge of her surfboard. The silver being speaks in an unknown alien language, then strikes Johnny and sends him hurtling back toward Earth. Soon after, Reed informs the others that he has successfully traced the path of the silver being who recently arrived on Earth. He explains that several planets visited by this entity had mysteriously disappeared from all space radar a few months later. The warning given by the silver figure was not an exaggeration. Every world it had visited had been completely destroyed, leaving nothing behind. Curious and alarmed, the team begins to question who Galactus truly is and why such a being possesses such immense power. Reed decides that we cannot wait for disaster to reach us. He tells the team to prepare for a mission into space, determined to confront Galactus and uncover the reason behind his plan to destroy Earth. Johnny then recalls something important. He tells the group that the silver figure spoke in the same strange language as the transmission they had received earlier from space. From the tone of her voice, Johnny feels that the silver being might not be evil. But with no time left to investigate, Reed instructs everyone to focus on their mission. They must travel into space and face Galactus before it is too late. Soon after, the Fantastic Four hold a press conference. In front of the world, they promise to protect Earth from any threat that may come. People everywhere place their hopes on them, believing the team can save the planet from the danger of Galactus. That night, before going to sleep, Reed apologizes to his pregnant wife for involving her in a dangerous mission. Susan tells him that no matter what he says, she will still go with him. She believes they must face this challenge together.
The next day, the Fantastic Four prepare to board their spacecraft, the Excelsior, while millions of people around the world watch with hope that they will defeat Galactus and save Earth. The ship launches into the sky, breaking through Earth's atmosphere and heading into deep space. Once in orbit, they activate a wormhole drive, allowing them to travel across the galaxy at incredible speed. After passing through the wormhole, they finally arrive at a massive planet where the Silver Surfer is currently located. Without warning, a gigantic machine the size of a planet bursts through the surface, destroying the entire world within seconds. Reed quickly orders Susan to make their ship invisible to avoid being detected. The team watches in shock as the colossal machine absorbs the entire planet into itself. Suddenly, the same machine begins pulling the Excelsior into its gravity field, disabling the ship's control systems. A bright light scans their vessel, focusing strangely on Susan's stomach. The Silver Surfer then phases through the ship's walls and appears before them. She tells them that Galactus invites them to come inside. Their ship lands within the massive structure, and the team steps out, following the Silver Surfer through its enormous interior. Reed sends a robot to collect samples, while the others look around. When Reed asks what Galactus truly wants, the Silver Surfer calmly replies that Galactus only seeks to feed. He consumes planets as his source of energy. Susan then asks how Galactus chooses which planets to devour. The Silver Surfer explains that she is the one commanded to select each target. Johnny flies closer and asks the meaning of the alien word the Silver Surfer spoke earlier. She tells him it means, "Die peacefully." Before Johnny can ask more, the Silver Surfer flies away, refusing to answer further. At last, the four of them stand before Galactus, a massive being seated upon his throne. His presence is overwhelming, filling the entire chamber with cosmic energy. Galactus begins to speak, telling them that billions of years ago, he was once a small creature, no different from an ordinary human. One day, he gained unimaginable power, but it came with a curse, an eternal hunger that could never be satisfied. Galactus already knows the purpose of their visit. He understands that the Fantastic Four have come to plead for Earth's mercy. To their surprise, he says that he is willing to spare the planet, but only under one condition. Susan must give him the baby she carries inside her womb. Galactus explains that he has sensed the child's energy. The baby holds immense cosmic power, capable of inheriting his strength and perhaps ending the eternal hunger that torments him. His eyes lock onto Susan, and as his gaze grows stronger, she suddenly feels intense pain. It feels as though she is about to give birth. Reed, enraged, refuses to hand over his child no matter what happens. Because of his defiance, Galactus swears that he will take the baby by force and make sure the child witnesses Earth's destruction. Immediately, Johnny takes flight and attacks Galactus, while Reed orders the others to escape. Ben stays behind to help Johnny fight off the Silver Soldiers guarding the throne room. But in the vacuum of space, Johnny begins to lose his strength as his flames fade away. Susan uses her power to hurl the pursuing Silver Soldiers aside, and the team finally makes it back to their ship. They launch the Excelsior out of the massive structure, but the Silver Surfer follows closely behind. Ben pilots the ship into the wormhole and activates the jump sequence. Even then, the Silver Surfer continues to pursue them through the tunnel of light. Johnny fires at her, but she refuses to back down. Reed quickly forms a plan. He steers the ship out of the wormhole and toward a nearby black hole, hoping to lure the Silver Surfer closer. He instructs Susan to make the ship invisible, and she succeeds. The Silver Surfer, deceived by their sudden disappearance, flies straight into the black hole and is pulled inside. The Fantastic Four finally escape, but Susan screams in pain. She is going into labor. Reed rushes to help her as Johnny and Ben struggle to stabilize the ship and re-enter the wormhole using the black hole's gravity. With the assistance of a medical robot, Susan gives birth to a healthy baby boy. They name him Franklin. The Fantastic Four finally return to Earth. Their spacecraft lands safely, and the entire world celebrates their arrival. People cheer and rejoice, believing that the team has defeated Galactus and saved the planet. However, standing before the crowd, Reed speaks honestly. He tells everyone that they have not defeated Galactus. Instead, they had tried to negotiate with him. Galactus had agreed to spare Earth, but only under one condition, that Reed surrender his unborn child as an offering. Reed explains that he could not do it, and apologizes to everyone. Hearing this, the crowd's joy turns to disappointment. Many people accuse the Fantastic Four of being selfish, saying that they have endangered the entire planet just to protect one baby. Meanwhile, in the depths of space, the Silver Surfer, who has survived, returns to face Galactus once again. Galactus commands her to prepare for another mission to Earth. He orders her to capture the baby of the Fantastic Four, as that child is the only being capable of absorbing his eternal hunger. Back on Earth, Reed and the others work tirelessly to find a way to defeat Galactus once and for all. Reed studies the samples he collected from inside the Great Machine. The analysis reveals that Galactus has existed since the birth of the universe itself. He is beyond anything they have ever understood. Reed admits that he does not yet know how to stop him. Ben tells Reed to take a rest, reminding him that he has been working non-stop since their return. Then Johnny approaches his sister and shows her the recording stored in his helmet. It captures his earlier encounter with the Silver Surfer. From that data, Johnny has managed to translate a single sentence from her alien language. He plans to use that clue to decode the strange transmission they received before. Johnny is sure that the transmission holds a connection to Galactus. The next morning, Reed begins to scan his newborn son to understand what kind of power the child might possess. However, his analysis shows nothing unusual. The baby appears completely normal, showing no sign of any cosmic ability. Soon after, panic spreads across the world as satellites detect a massive object entering the solar system and moving directly toward Earth. Everyone realizes that it is Galactus. The news throws humanity into chaos. Crowds gather outside the Fantastic Four's headquarters, shouting and blaming them for refusing to surrender their baby to save the planet. Amid the growing anger, Susan steps out of the building, holding her baby in her arms. With tears in her eyes, she tells the crowd that refusing to give up her child does not mean she has ignored the fate of others. Every life on Earth is precious to her. She says she wants to save everyone, not just her son. If she could, she would move every person on Earth to safety. Her words touch the hearts of the people. The crowd slowly calms and begins to support her decision. Hearing this, Reed suddenly gets an idea. He decides to use his newest invention, a device called the Bridge, to teleport the entire planet Earth to a distant location, far beyond Galactus's reach.
The next day, Reed broadcasts his discovery to the entire world. He explains his plan and urges every nation to help him construct massive versions of the Bridge across the globe. During a meeting with world leaders, Susan presents the detailed materials and components needed to build the bridge. Soon, the nations of the world unite with a single purpose. People everywhere begin working side by side, constructing the bridge towers in every region of the planet. When the first global test begins, Reed notices a major weakness in the system. The device requires an enormous amount of electrical power to operate. Without enough energy, the teleportation will fail. Reed immediately urges everyone to conserve electricity to provide the energy the bridge needs to activate. People across the world respond to his call. Cities dim their lights, factories shut down, and power grids are rerouted to feed the bridge. At the same time, Johnny continues working tirelessly to translate the mysterious transmission, using the data he recorded earlier. He believes the message may hold the final clue to understanding Galactus. As Galactus draws closer to Earth, Reed and the rest of the team prepare to activate the bridge. The massive network of machines around the world is ready. Just as the operation is about to begin, Johnny rushes in, saying that he has finally managed to translate the mysterious transmission. But Reed tells him to stay focused on the mission. They must move the planet before it is too late. All 4 members of the Fantastic Four take their positions and begin initiating the bridge's global sequence. But before the system can start, the Silver Surfer suddenly appears in the sky. She descends with incredible speed and begins destroying the bridge structures one by one across the planet. The final and only functioning bridge stands in New York, where the Fantastic Four are located. The Silver Surfer heads straight for it, determined to destroy the last hope for humanity. Johnny flies into the air to intercept her, engaging in a desperate battle. Just as the Silver Surfer prepares to strike back, Johnny plays the audio recording of the transmission he decoded. He tells her that he has learned the truth from the translated messages. The transmissions reveal her real name, Shalibal, a being from the planet Zen-La. Johnny explains that she once sacrificed herself to serve Galactus in order to save her own world. He then plays more recordings, this time from other planets destroyed by Galactus, each one filled with voices of civilizations that were wiped out. Johnny confronts her, saying that while she once saved her planet, she allowed countless others to perish. Hearing this, the Silver Surfer grows silent, filled with guilt. Without a word, she flies away into the sky. Johnny chases after her and tells her that he only wants to save his planet, just as she once did. The Silver Surfer turns back and says that if the Fantastic Four wish to save Earth, they must give up the child, Franklin. She tells them that if Franklin were grown, he would surely make the same sacrifice she once made. With those final words, the Silver Surfer disappears into the distance. Reed and the others are left in confusion and despair after their plan to teleport Earth completely fails. The bridge network is destroyed, and hope seems to fade away. While reviewing the security feed of his baby, Reed realizes something crucial. Galactus's true goal is not Earth itself, but the child. The cosmic being desires the baby's power, and Reed knows that Galactus will come to Earth personally to claim him. Reed then forms a daring plan. He decides to lure Galactus to the site of the last remaining bridge machine by using his baby as bait. Once Galactus enters the trap,
he intends to activate the bridge and send the creature to a distant part of the universe, far beyond return. At first, Susan refuses. The thought of using her baby as bait terrifies her. But as the situation grows more desperate and no other option remains, she finally agrees. She knows this may be their only chance to save the planet. The next day, Reed presents a reinforced baby cradle designed to withstand even a nuclear explosion. Their plan is to place Franklin inside the cradle at the center of the bridge. Once Galactus crosses the perimeter, they will activate the device and send him far away into the depths of space. Meanwhile, Susan meets with Harvey, the leader of the underground city of Subterranea. She asks him to allow the citizens of New York to take refuge there until the danger has passed. Harvey agrees to help. Soon, the people of New York are evacuated into the underground city for safety. The following day, Galactus's massive machine approaches Earth. As expected, Galactus rises from his throne and descends upon New York City to take Franklin, who is now inside the bridge structure. His enormous steps crush buildings around him as he advances toward the baby. Just as Galactus reaches for the cradle, Johnny attacks from above, firing intense flames at Galactus's eyes. On the ground, Reed switches the baby with an empty cradle while Johnny carries Franklin back to their headquarters. When Galactus opens his eyes again, he quickly realizes the trick. He detects the baby's energy inside the Fantastic Four's building and immediately heads toward it. Johnny and the others try to stop him, but Galactus easily overpowers them. He throws Ben into the atmosphere, but Johnny manages to rescue him just in time. Galactus then hurls a car carrying Susan, crashing it violently into the ground. Reed leaps onto Galactus's body, trying to stop him, but is caught and thrown aside. Johnny and Ben rush in and manage to pull Reed to safety. Galactus finally finds Franklin hidden inside the building and seizes him. As he prepares to leave, Susan regains consciousness and uses all her remaining strength to push Galactus toward the bridge. Reed begs her to stop, warning that it could kill her, but Susan refuses to give up. She orders the others to activate the bridge. Once the machine powers up, Reed dives in to rescue his son, while Susan unleashes her full power, forcing Galactus toward the glowing portal. For a moment, it seems to work, but Galactus resists and begins to emerge again. Johnny prepares to sacrifice himself to finish the job, but suddenly, the Silver Surfer appears. She pushes Johnny aside and hurls herself at Galactus, driving them both into the portal. Together, they vanish into the blinding light as the bridge closes. Galactus is gone and Earth is saved. Reed runs to Susan, who lies motionless on the ground. He tries desperately to wake her, but she does not respond. Grief fills the air as Reed places the crying baby Franklin on his mother's chest. In that moment, something miraculous happens. Franklin's touch emits a faint glow, and Susan slowly begins to breathe again. She opens her eyes and tells Reed that their son is no ordinary child. The team rejoices, grateful that both Susan and the planet have been saved. Humanity celebrates once more, cheering the Fantastic Four for saving Earth again. 4 years later, Susan enters Franklin's room for a routine check. To her shock, she finds her young son speaking calmly with Dr. Doom. And with that final image, the story of the Fantastic Four will return in Avengers: Doomsday.